Thank you. So, hello. This afternoon I'll be talking to you about, and sharing some ideas with you, about three things. And they are dance, thinking, and hormones. Now, all these three things are very close to my heart, primarily because I run the Dance Psychology Lab at a university of Hertfordshire, where we do a great deal of research looking at dance and the effect dance has on people and organisations. So we look at the effects of the health benefits of dancing for people with Parkinson's disease, for instance. We might try and understand, how is it the case that we recognise things that are being communicated through dance? How does the brain do that? We do that kind of work in the lab. But also, dance played a very important part in my life. And I think it's almost certain that had I not been a dancer, I would never have been a psychologist. I think had I not been a dancer, I don't know what my life would have amounted to at all. So I'll tell you why. So this email came through to me about a week or so ago on my desk, and it filled me with fear and dread and confusion. My heart rate went up, and it just felt awful. And when I looked at this email, it reminded me of the horrible childhood I had. Because when I looked at it, I didn't understand a word it said. Now, that's okay, it's okay. I know it's not my language. I speak it, I read everything in English, just about. But it had examples of why I was so terrible at reading English. So when we come down the list to start with, we've got this first word I can't say, riser, reference, something. I guess that means reference number. And then we've got risender, which I'm guessing is passenger. And then it's got flivening. Now, flivening. When I look at this, it's just got too many letters in it. There are too many letters in fly. Why isn't it flying? Flying. You could take out the V and the N. They're completely surplus to requirements. They are. And then you come down the list. And then we get some other ones. Here we are. Almost this one here. Handbagage. And I look at this and I think, how do I say that S-J-E? I've got to obviously say it somehow. S-J-E, I say. That doesn't make sense. And then finally, they come down a bit further. And we've got, I just can't pass them at all. Here we are. Oh, yeah. Priscatekuri. I know. So the problem with this particular word is I don't know how to pass the word. I don't know. I'm guessing it's made up of two individual words, but I don't know where they start and where they finish. And without knowing where they start and where they finish, I can't make sense of what the word is. Now, of course, eventually I read it over and over again, and I worked out what everything meant, because there were lots of cues in there. But this is so indicative. When I was growing up, I had very profound reading difficulties. And when you're a teenager with very profound reading difficulties, all words look like this. And so I was reading in English, but all the English words I was reading looked like that. And it was impossible to make sense of what they were saying. And so I started to read, or trying to read, and I couldn't read. And one of the problems of not reading when you're a teenager is that you obviously can't be put in for exams and things, because you can't sit exams, because you can't read very well. And you can't learn things. And if you can't learn things when you're a child, then of course teachers who know everything call you stupid. And they say, you can't read something, so therefore you're stupid. And this goes on, and they don't put you in for exams, so you end up leaving school without any qualifications and with not much of a future. So this is certainly the case that happened to me. I had very profound reading difficulties and found life very difficult in a reading domain. When I tried to read, when I saw blocks of text, things just felt awkward. It felt awkward, difficult, and clumsy, and horrible. And that was pretty much what life was like at school. But I was incredibly lucky. And I was incredibly lucky because I could dance. And I was able to dance, and I did dance. When I danced, it didn't feel clumsy. It didn't feel awkward in any way. It just felt like the most natural thing in the world. It felt like breathing. It just felt really completely natural. And I was incredibly lucky to be able to then earn a living as a dancer. So I left school, I trained as a professional dancer, and then I worked into the world as a professional dancer, dancing all over the place, which was perfectly fantastic. And then suddenly I realised that, well, if I could learn all this stuff in dance, what would happen if I applied my ability to learn dance to my ability to learn words, which I've been blocked out of all my life, pretty much. So what I started to do was to use techniques in dance, rhythms and patterns, and breaking things down in a very physical way that I was very used to doing, and applying those rules and techniques to words. And what I was able to do was to finally learn to read. And so I learned to read when I started to learn to read when I was 22. And it was applying the dance-based rules that enabled me to open up all those words. So previously I'd look at a block of text, and it would look like just a black block on the screen or on the page. And there weren't any individual words in it, it didn't make sense. So I applied these things I knew from dance to the reading, and eventually, over a period of time, I learned to read. So that was very important to me. Once I finished learning to read, I then realised, of course, that once you can read, you're no longer stupid. which is great. Because you know stuff about the world. You can read newspapers, and all of a sudden you know where different things are happening around the world. It's amazing, the things you can suddenly access when you can read you can't before. So once I realised I wasn't stupid, I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll become a university academic. I thought, I'll go to Cambridge University and be a university academic at Cambridge. I think I was still just a bit stupid enough to believe I could do this. And so I started on that path, and so I did some qualifications, and then did a degree in psychology, and then a master's degree in psychology. I then did my doctorate, and then my postdoctorate at Cambridge, eventually. And so, but what really inspired me for all of that was dancing. And then, when I got to that, I thought, well, how is it the case that dancing can unlock these thought processes? How is it the case that dancing can help someone to learn to read and learn to think? So what I then did was to start to do research into dyslexia, reading difficulties, and thinking and creativity. And what I'd like to share with you now is a couple of little experiments we've done, where we've looked at the relationship between dance and thinking to see how we've got this relationship. Okay, so the first thing is there are two types of thinking I want you to think about now. The first type of thinking is the type of thinking where you have to solve a problem, and the problem only has one right answer. So here's the problem. What is 5 times 3? 15, well done, you can shout that, that's great, that's right. You guys didn't get that, that's fine, that's fine. They got it. Okay, let's get this one. What's 15 times 3? 45, lovely, well done. Well, everyone over here now. What's 43 times 9? 43 times 9? Well, I won't give you the answer, just say keep thinking about the answer to 43 times 9. You'll probably go through some steps at the moment in your head to try and find the answer. I won't tell you just yet. But what you're doing here, you're trying to solve a problem where there's one answer to that problem. That's called convergent thinking, converging on one problem. Okay, a different type of problem. I'm about to give you a household object, and what I want you to do is to think of as many alternative uses for that object as you can think of. Now, these aren't uses for which the object was designed. They could be the alternative uses. So then what I want you to do is to find a use for that alternative one, and throw it out of your mind, generate another one, throw that one out of your mind, and generate another one. Okay? So see how many you can generate. Here we go. The household object is, for the alternative uses, is a household brick.
A what?
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. It's a household brick. 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 Ah, thank you very much. A brick. What could you use a brick for that it wasn't designed for? Juggling, yes, you could juggle bricks, that'd be fantastic, yep. Breaking a window, yeah, that's another good one. A bookshelf, yeah, good one. Lovely. Well, the other ones I have shouting out normally are things like to put in a bag of puppies and throw in the river. And the other one I had is to rub on quite rough bricks, and you can rub it on your skin to rub a wart off your skin. That's a horrible one. Okay, so we've got those two. Now, what we've done in the lab is to get people dancing in all kinds of different ways to see how it affects their ability to problem solve. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to teach you a little technique for making you faster at one type of problems and more creative with the other type of problem. Okay? Here we go. So, right, could you all just put your books down and everything down on the floor? Just free up your hands. Just free up your hands. Okay, can you all please, what I'd like to do is to slap your thighs twice for me, please. Brilliant. All in time now. 5, 6, 7, and... Lovely, lovely, lovely. Now let's clap twice. Both together, here we go, and... Lovely. You're going to do that lots and lots of times. And in between that, we've got 5 things for you to do. The first thing you have to do is called the hover. So it goes like this. Here we go. It goes 5, 6, 7, we go, and 1, 2, and we hover. Ooh, lovely. And again. And hover. Now the next thing is the mashed potato. Keep going. We go, a mashed potato, mashed potato. 1, 2, 3. A mashed... Lovely, lovely. It could be you. Lovely. We've got the hitchhiker. And again. And the hitchhiker, and the hitchhiker. One last one. The John Travolta. And John Travolta, John Travolta. Great, you got that? You got that? Right, what we're going to do, we're going to play a little video. And when we start the video off, I want you to do that 2 each. So we do 2 hovers, 2 mashed potatoes, 2 it could be used, 2 hitchhikers, and 2 John Travoltas. Right, I'll lead the way, and you can follow it on the video as well. Here we go. Oh. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, I'm ready. Here we go. I'm ready. Here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8. Now the mashed potato. It could be you. Now the hitchhiker. Now the hitchhiker. Finally, the John Travolta. And one more time. Brilliant. Well done, well done, well done. That's great. Right, what we're going to do next, we're going to do the same again, but this time, just one of each. So we'll do one hopper, one mashed potato, one it could be you, one hitchhiker, one John Travolta, and we'll do the whole thing all over again, okay? Get it locked in the head this time, get harder. Here we go. 6, 7, and... Now let's jump that one in. Now it's a mashed potato, lovely. And now we're doing it good for you. And a hitchhiker. It's some science. Now from the top again, here we go. One of them. There we go. One of them. A bit of a hitchhiker. There we go. And finally a bit of a John Travolta. Great. Well done. So now the next thing. Well done. Next time. It's twice as fast. Okay? So it's twice. Are you ready? Here we go. And... it could be you. And from the top. And that's excellent. Brilliant. That's great. Now the next time, it's the last time you're going to do it. This time I want you to improvise. Make it up. Always do a slap and a clap, and then do any of those 5 movements. Don't keep doing the same over again. Don't plan it in advance. Improvise on those 5 movements. Do anything you like in any order you want. Don't come to the person in front of you. Just make it up. Are you ready? Johnny, right, here we go. Okay, you got all ready. Improvise. Make it all up. Here we go. Ready, do something different. Come on. Very creative. Brilliant. Something good. What have you done? Oh, look at something close. Well done. Well done. Okay, so here we are. The science of this is, when we get people doing it in the laboratory, we find 2 things. When people do structured dance, it makes them faster at solving convergent problems. It makes them faster at solving problems like, what's 43 times 9, or what's 5 times 3. It speeds up your cognitive processes, even when you dance physically and you have to solve problems mentally or writing them down. It speeds you up. The second thing it does, when you do the improvisation part, or the making it up, where you use 20 minutes worth of making stuff up, whether you make it up physically with your body, or make it up with music, or make it up with words, it makes you more creative in the sense that you're able to find more solutions to divergent thinking problems. It makes you more creative, which is fantastic. And what we're currently looking into, we're doing the research at the moment, is applying this in schools to see how school children can learn material, sort of convergent material like learning the science curriculum. Can movement in the classroom, if you've got children moving in classrooms, will it make them faster at solving problems and more creative and divergent in their ability to think? Right. Stand up. Right, could you all please, could we all just imagine it's a wedding, you're at a family wedding, and could you all, going that way, I want to think, just do this for me. You just do that step, and touch, step, and that's it, lovely. Let's have some music on that. Is it me doing the music or you? Thank you. Just some music, thank you very much. Right, let's put music then. Oh, lovely. Okay. Just get the rhythm on this. Let's try. Here we go. Now, what I do now, find that groove, just find the groove in the music. Now imagine you're at a party or a disco or somewhere, and then suddenly the most attractive person in the world has walked in, and they're standing right there. And you look at them and you think, right, that's the most attractive person in the world. And then they look at you, and you can see in their eyes that they're thinking, oh, you're the most beautiful person in the world. So look into their gaze, close your own eyes, and I want you to see yourself go, and really dance. Come on, let's go. Let's imagine it's a bar disco. Oh, lovely. Keep going to the chorus. Oh, here we are. And that person is dancing the same way as you. Oh, it's a wonderful feeling. Right, so it feels good. Now, do you know what? The way you were dancing just then, is influenced, apparently, and this is proven, it's been published in a scientific journal, so it must be true. The way you were dancing just then was influenced by the relative size of your ears. No, it's true, but it's published. The idea is the size of your ears, the relative size of your ears, one might be huge, one might be small. According to some scientists, it suggests it tells us something about your genetic quality, your underlying genetic makeup. And if your ears are exactly the same size, it means you're almost a perfect specimen. And what has been found in these very scientifically controlled studies is that when people dance, if you just take an image of somebody dancing and you can't see anything about them, the people who dance who've got perfectly the same size ears as each other are apparently rated as better dancers than people who dance with lopsided ears. Absolutely true. It's absolutely true. Now, the other thing that we found fascinating, so this is about gender equality, is also suggested that the size of your fingers also has an impact on how you dance and move. Now, I'm going to have time to show you this video, so in the last 18 seconds, I'll do it really, really quickly. But what we're going to do, we have a minute longer, I think, is the relative size of your fingers, particularly these two fingers here in a man, are an indicator of your degree of what's called prenatal testosterone. Some men have high degrees of prenatal testosterone, and some men don't. And it's been argued that women want to find men with high levels of prenatal testosterone. And what's apparently been found is that men with high levels of prenatal testosterone dance differently to men with low levels of prenatal testosterone. And when they dance, women rate them, those high testosterone men, as being more attractive in the way they dance. So I thought, I've got to do this, I've got to do something with this. We went to, can I play this video? Can I play the video? Yeah, let's play this. Thank you very much. So we went to a nightclub. I'll talk to you as we're doing it. We went to a nightclub, and we measured hundreds of people coming into their nightclub. We measured their hormone levels, their relationship status. We watched them dance, both in the main dance floor and also here on the little side dance floor as well. And we looked at everything to do with them, their personality. We gave a whole battery of tests. And one of the things in the women we looked at was their degree of fertility, so how fertile they were on a stage of their cycle. And this young woman here, for instance, was at the very fertile stage of her cycle. And we looked at men as well. We looked at men dancing, and some men had very low levels of testosterone. And these are the men that women tend not to want. And some men have very high levels of testosterone. And this man here had the highest level of testosterone in the nightclub on that day, which is incredible. And what we did with these people, we took these videos, we took of hundreds of men and women dancing, and we grayscaled the videos out, so we blurred the image out, so you couldn't really see it. It's like looking through beer goggles. And we blurred them out, and then we asked men to rate the women for attractiveness. And what we found is that the women danced in a particular way. When women were at the fertile stage of their cycle, they tended to isolate their hip region more. They move their hip region quite a lot, and they keep everything else still. And then we put eye-tracking goggles on men. And we said to the men, look on this woman's body, your full-size body, and tell us how attractive she is. So, of course, what happened is the men went... and they said, oh, she's got a pretty face. And then we asked the women who are less at a fertile stage of their cycle. Now, they still move their hips a lot, but they then move their arms a lot too. And their legs, they moved everything. They moved around a lot, and there's all this kind of movement going on. You know, that kind of movement going on. And then men with the eye-tracking glasses looked all over the body. They were looking at the hands, the head, the feet, everywhere. And they said, no, not very attractive at all. It's incredible. And so then we took the same woman dancing every week for 6 weeks, or 8 weeks it was, and we measured her dancing every single week. And exactly the same thing happened, even in the same woman. So the same woman danced differently at different stages of her fertility cycle, and men looked at different parts of her body and rated her as more or less attractive as a consequence of that, which is incredible. So, what we know from all this stuff is that we are biologically born and driven to dance. You know, if dancing is an expression of our hormonal and genetic makeup, it suggests that dancing is one of the most natural things in the world that we can do. We also know, of course, that dancing has this amazing impact on our thinking and thought processes. So the idea, I think, that it's worth spreading today is that dancing is a fundamental part of who we are and can have a huge impact on our ability to learn. So thank you very much.